How many of you have heard about Bishop Oliver Dome? Anybody? No way. This is Franciscan University, bro. You guys don't know about this guy? Okay. I'm surprised. I think you're going to know him. You just probably don't know the name. Okay. So in December of 2014, so just a couple years ago, in Nigeria. Now, is that ringing a bell, maybe? Some? Okay. All right. So in Nigeria, in his area, it's been infiltrated by Boko Haram, radical Muslim terrorists who do horrible things to people. They put them in cages, they burn them alive, they kidnap little girls, and they do horrible things with those little girls, and then they sell them to others so they can do the horrible things. It's horrible, horrible, demonic organization. Well, there was a bishop in that area where they're doing all this stuff. He was at prayer, this bishop, Bishop Oliver Dome, before the Blessed Sacrament, and he was praying his rosary. And all of a sudden, and he gives testimony to this, when you go back to your dorm tonight, you can do a Google and you'll find the videos of him talking about what I'm about to tell you. He's at prayer, praying his rosary before the Blessed Sacrament, and Jesus appears to him. Now, this is a bishop telling the story. He's not lying to us. Guess what Jesus had in his hands? Our Jesus. The Jesus that you and I receive in Holy Communion, that we love, that we've given our lives to. Guess what he had in his hands? A sword. A sword. A sword of steel. That's my Jesus. Now, I'm not saying my Jesus is Conan or Braveheart or, but it was a sword. Our Jesus came with a sword to his bishop in an area that's plagued by radical Islamic terrorists. And he held out the sword to his bishop in a gesture of take it. He didn't say anything to him, but he held it out. And so the bishop went to take the sword. And as soon as he touched the sword, it was mystically transformed into a rosary. And Jesus then spoke to his bishop and said 3 times, Boko Haram is gone. Boko Haram is gone. Boko Haram is gone. After that, the bishop went and told his priest what happened, and he started rosary crusades. That was 2 years ago. Just 2.5 weeks ago, that bishop went on air in England and said that in his area in Nigeria, Boko Haram is almost all but vanquished because of this rosary weapon, this sword. In other areas of Nigeria, they're still there, Boko Haram, where they don't have the rosary crusades. Heaven spoke to him and to us. And that's what I want to go through tonight is, you see this in my hands, and it doesn't look like anything. It just looks like a wooden rosary. It's a really cool rosary, I have to admit. But it doesn't look intimidating. What damage could you do with this thing? Every now and then these things break in my pocket. They get snagged, and I got to get a new one. But what you can't see is what I'm holding in my hand right now. But God can see, and the angels can see, both the holy ones and the fallen ones. What they can see that I have in my hand right now is a sword of unbelievable power. You can't see it, but they can. It's here. Demons fear this thing. Nobody slays a dragon without a sword. That's what this is. And as you've heard in your theology classes, I'm sure, and from the preaching here, the whole bookends of human history are about what? From Genesis to Revelation. What's in that book? A woman doing battle against a serpent dragon. Lucifer, Satan, the devil. And is her divine offspring, her firstborn son, who conquers him. And her other offspring, you and me. God set this up this way. This is the bookends of human history, of everything. He knew that this woman that he made was going to be the one to crush Satan's face. And that she was going to be the one who would bring into the world the one who would give to us the saving sacred mysteries to slay the dragon. So, he was going to create a weapon, a special weapon. He could have done it at the beginning of time right away. But he chose to work throughout time and in his workshop. He was almost like acting like a blacksmith in a certain sense. Forging a weapon that would be a Marian weapon for that chosen woman, that she could give it to her children and they could use it to cut off the heads of the wicked Hydra. seven-headed Hydra. You better have a very powerful sword if you're going to come up against a beast like that.